Hello and welcome to SUTV Sports Night. I'm Naira Tolliver.
I'm Evan Smith.
I'm Caitlin Cleveland.
And I'm Eli Modney.
And now for a recap of men's and women's baseball. Men's baseball has an overall record of 30-7 and a conference record of 11-4. They played against Stevenson University and won by a final score of 60-7. This is the 12th time SU has had a 30-win season under head coach Doug Fleetwood, and this is the final home game for the 5 SU seniors. Sophomore Kyle Heyman, senior Nick Gentry, and junior Quinn Griffith were a combined 9 for 15 with 9 runs scored and 5 runs driven in. Junior Johnny Chiodas chipped in with a 3 for 6 day. Senior right-hander Andrew Levy improved to 5-0 on the season, joining Dan Feen in a tie for 10th place on the SU single-season win list. Salisbury's game against Johns Hopkins was postponed today because of the weather, but they will play away at Montclair State on May 8th at 3 o'clock. Women's softball has an overall record of 35-2 and a conference record of 8-0. They played Frostburg State and captured their 18th CAC title by a score of 1-0. A pitching duel between SU pitcher Rachel Johnson and Frostburg State's Marianne Moore was the story of the game until the 4th inning, when senior Carly Reed hit a sac fly in the bottom of the 4th to plate freshman Katie Saban. Johnson earned her 22nd win of the season to improve to 22-1. The Gulls will now wait for their next opponent once the NCAA tournament field is set. And now on to Caitlin with men's and women's lacrosse.
Thank you, Naira. Both the men and women's lacrosse teams earned a spot in the CAC title game after winning both their games this past Saturday. At Siegel Stadium, the men defeated University of Mary Washington with a final score of 20-8. Sophomore attackman Jesse Rabishaw had a breakout game with 6 goals and 3 assists. Close behind him was freshman Bradley Dashel, who had 5 goals and 1 assist. The Seagulls will host St. Mary's next weekend as they try to win their 18th CAC championship. The women defeated St. Mary's last weekend with a final score of 18-4. Lauren Fuschers moved into the number 5 spot in program history for goals scored after scoring 5 in Saturday's game. She now has 48 goals this season and 151 in her career. The Seagulls look to win their 11th straight CAC title this Saturday against York College here at Siegel Stadium. And now to next question with
me.
Naira.
Oh.
Draft time.
Yeah, draft time. So we're doing an NFL draft, obviously, winners, losers, who we think got the best deals, what we think about the first round pick. Let's go.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like every time I looked up at the TV during the draft, the Vikings were making a pick. They had 3 first-round picks, instant winners. I don't care. Like, Sharif Floyd, which I'm surprised made it that far, he was projecting the top 10 in a lot of mock drafts that I saw.
Yeah.
Instant starter, D-tackle, big cornerback in Xavier Rhodes. I think the Vikings are poised for a good season with Adrian Peterson, obviously.
I mean, I think the thing with the Vikings was they didn't have too many holes to fill anyway. They were already a good team. They faced a few injuries last year, but they were already, I think, a set team for the playoffs. And like you said, they got 3 picks in the first round, so I think that just adds to them next year.
Right.
I think that was the surprise, how many picks they had. Also, first-round pick. I mean, I knew it was going to be offensive lineman, just didn't know it was Eric Fisher. I thought it was going to be Luke Jokel out of Texas A&M. I've heard more about him. He was projected to go first anyway, so Eric Fisher kind of like came out of nowhere for me. But other than that, I mean, besides the Jets with their picks, I mean, I don't have a problem with D. Milner.
The biggest losers, I think, are the Jets.
Yeah.
If we're talking about biggest winners and biggest losers, which,
yeah.
I mean, they've always been the biggest losers, let's be honest. But especially, I don't think they chose well. I mean, their first 2 picks were defensive players, correct?
Yeah, well,
and
they picked their cornerback's fine. I don't care about the cornerback pick. I think the pick at number 13, Sheldon Richardson, that's kind of a risk to take. I mean, he just showed up on the radar this season. He hasn't been very consistent. So, I mean, they probably just wasted a pick. I'm not saying that they did waste a pick, but I mean, who's to say he'll be good in the next couple of years?
See, I don't like to identify losers in the draft because we all know, we have no idea.
Yeah.
D. Milner, solid cornerback out of Alabama.
Yeah.
A lot of surgeries, so that's a big question mark. He's a beast of a player. He runs fast. He covers well, physical. But we don't know. Is he going to pan out in the NFL? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? That's his biggest problem. And the Baltimore Ravens did really well. I don't know if anyone paid attention. You lose Ed Reed, you lose Ray Lewis.
You get Matt Elam.
They got Elam out of Florida, who's an absolute stud at safety. He's a beast. I don't know how he fell to 32.
That's a great pickup.
Arthur Brown, linebacker,
Oh.
He can replace Ray Lewis.
Okay.
He's athletic. He's huge.
And they were
Well, no one
thinking,
can replace Ray Lewis, but they're going to do that.
Well, okay, yeah.
they were thinking he was
Yeah.
going to take Manti Te'o as the number, like, what was there, like the 31st pick?
Let's just be
30
happy they didn't do that.
I'm glad they didn't do it. The Chargers can have
Chargers
Te'o.
took that
I'm
burden.
so
Have
I was watching when they said Math or Matthew Elam, right? Correct.
Matt Elam.
I always pronounce it wrong. I'm sorry, but when they said the Ma, I was like, they're gonna say Manti Te'o, and I was about to lose it, and then they finished it, and I was like, oh, okay, I like that. Like I'm good with that. But yeah, we got some pretty good people. I know the big shocker was that E.J. Manuel was the first
First
quarterback for Buffalo, and Geno Smith didn't get taken up until second round after Manti Te'o, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I know that was a big shocker, but again,
To me, I would have been mad if I was Geno Smith.
oh, he was.
Like, they had the camera on him the whole time, and it was like, okay, you kind of need to get out of his face.
This dude was burying his head in his hands. It was so sad
It
to
was
see.
horrible, but it's like, you think you're going to be the first round pick. Really doesn't matter like what like you get taken as long as it's first round pick. That's what you're projected as. Then EJ Manuel gets picked over you, and you're like, what?
That's rough.
It is rough.
To his credit, he came back on day 2.
Yeah.
I don't know any players that would do that.
Yeah.
I could not believe, but he came out with his Ralph Lauren sweater looking nice. I applaud him for that, but
They were looking good. Everybody was
I'm not a
looking
Geno
good.
Smith fan, so I have no problem with EJ Manuel.
Yeah.
I would take EJ
I'm not-
over Geno Smith.
I'm not really
Yeah.
any of their fans.
I think that's what Buffalo needs to get their season around. Not that they've ever done that poorly, but Nair,
I think that was the
what's our
Jet
next-
season crash.
Yeah, that was the Jet season
Geno Smith.
crashing.
Next on the agenda, NHL Predictions. Stanley Cup playoffs start on tomorrow. Obviously, everybody thinks, it's going to be a nice little matchup. Chicago Blackhawks, they play Detroit Red Wings, I think, or the Minnesota Wild. I forget who's got that 8th spot. Pittsburgh Penguins playing the Ottawa Senators, I think. Predictions for the Cup.
That'll be a close one.
Yeah, that'll be a close one.
This is going to be boring. I like the Blackhawks. Great defense over the Bruins. Also great defense with the Blackhawks. They have that offense to back it up.
Sure.
Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane could be the MVP of the league.
He could be.
He's a stud. I'm going to go Chicago just because the Flyers are out. I think the Flyers had a good chance had they made it, but
Where is Philly in the playoffs, by the way, for any league?
are we talking about hockey? Or?
I'm just saying,
I want to say they're the 9th or 10th seed
Okay. Okay.
entering the playoffs.
I haven't seen them in the NBA, the NHL.
MLB.
Haven't seen them in the NFL in a while. MLB, yeah. I'm just wondering where Philadelphia is in general.
It's all right. Washington's doing really well. So.
Okay.
Those Wizards.
I am going
They sneak up on people.
Oh, yeah, the Wizards do sneak up on people, really. Now, I'm going to take, this is probably like wishful thinking on my part.
Oh, here we
Don't
go.
say-
But it's like wishful. I like how the Caps have played
I agree.
I was
these
gonna
past
agree with
2
you.
months. And I may get my heart broken again for the 3rd, 4th year in a row. But I'll be okay with it this year.
I think they're going to make it past the Rangers. I think they're
Yeah.
going to make it past the Rangers regardless, but
It's who they get in their second round
Right.
matchup frightens me. Because if they get Boston, I think they can handle Boston.
They beat
If-
Boston the other day,
I mean,
Saturday.
Yeah.
But if they get Pittsburgh, that's where my issue is.
Yeah.
They don't
We've got-
handle
we've got-
Pittsburgh. It's like
I'm not
something-
as
blown out by
I'm not as concerned about Pittsburgh though with Crosby out.
True.
Crosby's
Crosby's
out.
coming back.
Is he coming back
he
for
got
that?
cleared.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
He's gonna be
That's
back before
disappointing.
playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the way Green has been playing, I think, is what's got me the most excited.
Yeah.
Ovechkin comes on and off when he wants to, but when him and Mike Green are on, that team is on. So
And I think they're going in with such strong momentum. I think that they can't do wrong. Like
yeah, who thought they would have made it in the playoffs?
I was
2
gonna
months
say,
ago?
I know we were
Yeah.
debating this 2 months ago about how crappy they were doing,
Yeah.
and the fact that they're in the playoffs now, that's got to do something for their confidence and their ability to play together as a team and win together. So I like Caps too, but I like Blackhawks just because they've had a great season.
My wishful thinking also would be like Caps Ducks Stanley Cup playoff. You got
Like
Bruce
the Ducks,
Boudreau.
too.
I'd love that.
Bruce
That would
Boudreau
be-
coming back to DC where he coached for a long period of time. That would be a great match. I get to go to California, get to come back to DC, get to go to California. It'll be a win-win situation for everybody.
Ducks wouldn't shock me. Blues wouldn't shock me. St. Louis. I
Blues,
got them too. They're
Blues
nice.
are like the surprise kind of sort of. I don't really like the Minnesota Wild. They're just.
But again, with the Rangers, you can never count them out.
Yeah.
They got the best goalie.
And don't knock the Kings. A Kings
Stanley-
Rangers
Stanley
Cup final is not out of the water either.
That's the thing with the NHL playoffs. It's
I
always.
was gonna say it's so unpredictable. There's not even you can't even. It's not like the NBA where everyone's like, oh, well, we all know who it's
Right.
gonna be.
There's a
which is
reason why we're not talking about the NBA
Yeah.
playoffs. Oh, Miami won. Shocking.
I was gonna
You know.
say, did
First
that
sweep.
surprise anyone?
First sweep in Big Three history. They've only been together for like what, 3 years? Whatever.
That's their first sweep.
Yeah, that's their
Why
first
is
playoff
that? Why
sweep.
should that even
Really?
be like a historical thing?
Well, they should have been sweeping teams before, I guess,
Yeah, I
is
was
what it
gonna
is.
say,
You know,
like,
and they weren't.
it should have been, you know, with 3 of the top 10 scorers in the league. They should have been sweeping way before now. So.
Basketball.
Thank you, Nair. In case people
Just
don't know
saying.
what you're talking
The
about.
NBA is the basketball league. You
Yeah.
know, yes.
DC United scoreboard, no, not their scoreboard, but they were playing the Columbus Crew. The scoreboard caught on fire, delayed the game about an hour,
This reminds me of something
such as.
as like the Super Bowl and the lights went out for an hour.
I don't know why police aren't investigating to see if DC United had something to do with this, because they need some type of break right now.
They do have a history of criminal activity.
You know, so look.
Again, like the Ravens.
Well, that's true. That's true. So I don't know why, you know, I think we should be looking deeper into this than just a 50-minute delay.
It's soccer.
So.
They're not looking
You know,
any
the
farther.
Warren
than-
Washington team I support, and you're accusing of being arsonists. You know, this isn't fair.
That's how it rolls.
That's whatever.
Maybe it's the
Scoreboards.
theme of their season, fire, or blowing up, you know.
I mean, I don't watch soccer like that much, but like the past games I've seen, it's been really, really bad.
Yeah, well, they have the worst record in the MLS. That was their 5th
Do
loss.
they really?
Yeah, it was
They
their
really?
5th straight loss.
Maybe they're just trying
Shows
to
how
make the
much of a
Wizards
fan
feel
I am.
better.
Maybe that could be true, because they
Really?
need it. Lord knows they need
We're
it.
gonna light the scoreboard on fire to make everyone feel better.
And the
Yeah.
Caps are just picking up the slack.
Exactly,
And the Nationals aren't really at all.
Even
Sorry.
though,
talk about
yeah,
that.
which I'm happy about.
whatever,
I don't
we're
have a problem
13,
with that.
13 and 12, whatever. We're getting there. Tonight,
Yeah, but you
Braves
gotta
right
come
now.
out strong.
Hey, it's April. There's a reason why it's 100 and.
That's the thing that scares me, because when the Orioles start off strong,
Yeah.
we
they-
know how they finish.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
you
know. Oakland had the best record in the league since last August, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that. And Orioles just beat them three games out of 4 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but we're starting
I'm
off.
just saying, like,
you know.
we're still.
Well,
No,
everybody's
look, I have
doing well.
confidence. I have confidence in Chris, okay, but, you
Chris,
know.
Chris Davis, that man can do no wrong.
Well, he's leading the league in RBIs. He's got 28.
And he's leading the AL in homers.
I mean, yeah, you guys are good for now. Wait till like September comes
We just
around.
need our pitching just needs to step it up a little bit. Dylan Bundy, they just got his MRI results back today, and he's out he has to rest for 6 weeks. I wish the doctor would tell me that when I got hurt. Like, just rest, and he's getting sent to Sarasota, so like just rest in Sarasota for 6 weeks.
Wasn't he like their first round pick? Of course he's gonna rest for like 6 weeks.
I'm not saying it was a surprise.
like
I'm just saying.
I mean,
that
what do
our
baseball
pitching,
pitchers do anyway? They're always resting.
Yeah, no
Sure.
kidding.
2 days of
Yeah,
rest.
I don't
Yeah.
get.
They're gonna get a week off.
Right, literally
chill.
every week they pitch a game
And they
and
just sit
there's a
there.
week off, you know, just chill.
I love post game interviews when they have like an entire like igloo on their arm from pitching a game. And then
Even
they
though
get,
they don't have to pitch for another
and
7
then, yeah, and then they
days.
get 7 days off, and it's like, again, I've never pitched in a major league game, so I wouldn't.
You haven't?
I know it's shocking, right? But no, I haven't.
Well, first there was Jackie Robinson, next there would be Caitlin Cleveland.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know, so
Well,
Now on to soccer. We're getting international
go.
here at Sports Night. Last week we talked about Luis Suarez, biting the player.
The
Now
freak.
he's got this 10-game ban. What do
well,
we
I'm
think?
glad he didn't appeal it, because I think he'd have just looked stupid. You know, if you look at the
because
How nice of
biting
him.
someone isn't looking stupid.
Well, I agreed. Well, and let's be clear, this was the second time.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
second time.
But the video goes and shows him, you know,
Taking a
makes an
chunk out of
effort
right,
someone.
to gnaw at
you
that
know,
arm.
and then he just acts like nothing's happening. And you know, the guy he bit would be something, I can't pronounce it, but
Ivanovic.
he was sitting there like, I can't believe I just got bit. You know, like did this man really bite me?
That's
And-
how I'd be looking too. Are you serious? We got cannibals on the field
Right,
now? Like, what
right.
is this?
So apparently his lawyers told him, don't appeal it. It'll make you look worse. it's only going to hurt you. So he's like, all right. I'll
And
just
hurt the
sit
guy
up.
he bit, but.
Well, I think the damage is already done. I'm sure he's having nightmares. And Suarez is
I
gonna
mean,
come
like a
up.
bunch of Suarez come at him.
Right.
Like, blah, blah,
Eating
blah,
him
blah.
alive, yeah.
But 10 games, one of the best strikers in the world. Liverpool next season. The season's over now, but
Yeah, and he gets 6 next season, I think, too. Yeah,
so
6 games into. I don't
heard
think it's
Liverpool.
enough. This is his second strike. This is the second time he's bit.
Well, was it 3 games last time or 7 games? Did he even get suspended last time?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
did he do it in the Premier League?
No.
He
You're
did it.
No,
He did it
no.
back. I knew it was back in
We're gonna need to
2010
ask
when he
our
did it
resident
last.
soccer
But
person.
yeah,
about that.
he did it back in 2010. Either way, they put a dog down for biting, and a dog doesn't know what it's doing. This guy's bitten someone twice, and he gets 10 games.
No, I'm not saying you should put him down.
No, don't kill the guy.
That's
Don't
a
kill
little,
him.
like-
Don't kill the guy, but
murdering people
You know,
for the Premier
hey, it's
League.
international
Kick
sports,
him
so
out of the
maybe
league.
they get
I
a
don't
little
know.
rougher.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
To see his
How
face
many
anymore.
how many times are you gonna have to bite somebody for him to get thrown out? You know.
I'm guessing one more would probably do it. I don't know.
1 or 2 more.
If he does it 3 times, then you can put him down.
All right. All right.
That's fair game.
You
you
have
know?
to.
All right.
Get your
This
life.
is weird.
This took an awkward turn.
Weird.
We're going to take a more awkward turn and go into college football is adding a new 4-team playoff system that's going to go into effect not this upcoming season, but in the next season after that. So
Right.
the fall of 2015. The first game's probably going to be played, obviously, where else? Cowboy Stadium. Jerry World,
Of course.
what do we think about this new playoff system that they're implementing?
I think it's about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
If we had this last season, we wouldn't have the debacle that we had to watch. Notre Dame losing by 40 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the worst.
I watched 3
Championship
minutes
game.
of that game and had to turn it off.
Was
I
it?
so
How many touchdowns did they score in the 3 minutes?
Like 1,000.
Yeah, I think it was 2.
It was ridiculous.
2 or 3.
For the past 2 years, the games have been very, very boring. LSU, Alabama, defensive matchup, kind of, sort of, but it really wasn't that much defense in that game. Alabama was running rampant over LSU.
That game was a shutout, right? Like
Yeah, it was a
21
shutout.
nothing or
It
something.
was a
The last
shutout.
time I really got into, and I know there have been a couple in between this and now, but the last one I really, really got into that I felt like was like a Super Bowl for college was the Longhorns against USC when the Longhorns
that
had
was a
Vince
good
Young.
one.
The Vince Young game.
And Reggie Bush was on USC. That was
that
the
the
last
title
time.
game?
That was the title game. Yeah. And that was the
Long
last
time
time I
ago.
really watched
Yeah,
it
it
and
was.
was like, these are the 2 best teams in college football
Right.
squaring off. It made it to the last minute.
Well, even when I watched Tim Tebow when he played at Florida and they played Oklahoma for that was a good game, and that had you intrigued the whole time. I mean, these games now are just boring.
Yeah, and they don't have that build up.
They don't have that star presence. I
Right,
mean,
right.
AJ McCarron's a star presence. His girlfriend was more of a star presence
Oh
after
my
the
gosh.
game. They were like,
Catherine
"Oh my
Webb.
God!"
During the game.
During the game,
Yeah.
after
They
the game.
showed her so. I was like, who is this girl, and why do we? It's kind of like when they were showing Geno Smith so much. Okay, not at all, but still, I
Two
know
different
we're all media people. You don't Oh, it's just so boring just watching her.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
But I mean, it
Now
was.
she's like a reality TV star.
She's got her own TV show.
Did she
Not her
really?
own TV show. She's on Splash on ABC. It's like Dancing with the Stars, but it's diving with the stars. It's
you gotta be
weird.
kidding me.
What? They die? Like they have
They
diving?
dive like
Yeah.
Greg
Tara Louise
Louganis
is on
died.
that.
Like
Oh
Greg
yeah,
Louganis
Kareem
and-
Abdul-Jabbar, his 7-foot-tall
Oh,
butt is
God.
just diving
No,
into
no.
a pool.
Like
Have you
there
ever seen
are
it?
severe injuries on this show, but mainly I think it's just Catherine Webb in a bathing suit is what people watch.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm surprised he's gonna go home and look up this show now.
YouTube is useful in many ways.
Doesn't the girlfriend go to Auburn? Doesn't anyone see a problem with that?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
the
that's
quarterback
right,
for
she
Alabama, and you're dating a
does.
girl that goes to Auburn.
Yeah,
I don't know.
didn't realize
I guess
that.
the Auburn males would have a problem with it. The men that go to Auburn are probably up
Like,
in
I
arms.
feel
What
like
do
it's a
you can't
violation.
find
If I
it?
find out Michael Vick's dating Tony Romo's sister,
Yeah, I agree.
that's a problem.
Well,
you know?
not the
that's a
same.
bit different.
But
That's
especially,
me.
but yeah, but it's like an in-state rivalry. They hate each other. You're gonna date. I know her family's probably like, "What are you doing?" I mean, he won 2
They take
national
football seriously down there.
They
They
do.
do.
And
That's all they have.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess it's kind of like I could never date a Pittsburgh fan, a Steelers fan. I couldn't do it. So I guess I can see where you're coming to with Tony Romo.
For all you guys out there, sorry.
Okay, Tampa Bay Rays pitcher David Price got angry at an umpire after he won his first game of the season. Congrats to him. But he was pretty mad because he thought the ump said some expletive or something to him after the game after he threw the final pitch. I don't understand why he's upset. Just be happy he won. That's just my
he
take.
says the ump said, throw the bleeping ball already. And the ump said, you know, he's a liar.
Yeah.
All I said was throw the ball over the plate. Kind of believe him. I don't believe the ump. I kind of believe Price a little bit. For him to get that mad with a win, you know, it seems like there had to, I can see him getting that mad if he lost. But for a win, he's getting that mad, and the ump is saying, I said what he said I said, just without the word. I'm like,
a little questionable.
you know, a little questionable with the ump. But
Did any of you see the pitch?
I didn't see that.
It was right down the middle. It was a strike, but the very next pitch was a tapper right back to him. So it was only one extra pitch. Something had to have made him angry. It wasn't, I need to throw one more pitch.
Yeah,
you know?
the ump didn't say throw the ball already, and David Price winning, like, what? You know, so.
Well, I just feel like some umpires, like, as the game goes on, baseball's a long game, and you can be sitting there for 3-4 hours and you get tired. But, I mean, some umpires, they just want to, like, when they get to, like, that 9th inning, they just want to call everything. And whether they think, whether it's a good pitch or a bad pitch, and you're sitting there like, it's a strike, but you call it a ball. Like, these umpires need to get more consistent with their calls throughout the game. If you're going to call it a strike in the first, like, 8 innings, call it a strike in the last inning.
I mean, if they wouldn't have won, we'd be talking more about this, because Hellickson got ejected for getting mad at the ump, which is more reason I think that the ump said something.
Right.
Because not only is Price mad, you've got his teammates mad, you know, up in arms about it, getting ejected from the game over it. So I think the ump said something. I agree. Stay consistent. What you call in the first inning should be called at the bottom of the ninth.
Right.
You know, and I think that would avoid all this.
I mean, that's a problem with all sports and all refs. Every ref, when it gets to the end, changes what he calls, and especially when it's a close game. When it's a close game, refs tend not to blow their whistle as much, and umpires tend not to call whatever pitch. So yeah, I think it's just something that needs to be changed.
I still never forget the ump that was crying when he ruined the
oh my God.
The Detroit Tigers.
Jim Joyce.
Oh man, he
ruined
messed up
his
his perfect
game.
game. He comes out balling and stuff. Oh, that was.
And it was clearly, he clearly was out. Like, it wasn't like something where it was like a bang, bang play. It was like, he clearly is out. What are you looking at? Do you need glasses?
Yeah.
I was mad, and I'm not even a Detroit Tigers fan.
I was mad at I'm not a Tigers fan either. I was mad that the guy cried. I was like, oh man, you know.
But it always happens in like clutch situations like that, where it like comes down to that final call or that final pitch, and they always mess up.
But these guys are affecting history. You know, there's so few players that will ever throw a perfect game, and he took that away from him. You know, so.
I'm sure he still lives with that.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Yeah. But.
Now onto the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, you know, he's been out with his season-ending Achilles tear. Let's talk about Kobe for a second, guys.
I think Kobe has shown, and I'll say this now, I think Kobe has shown that he is still more valuable to his team than any other player in the NBA.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's more valuable than...
I think Dwight Howard agrees with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and look at Dwight Howard. This is somebody who you're talking about potentially being a Hall of Famer. You know, when he was back
in Orlando.
Or in Orlando, playing for the Magic. You know, you're looking at one of the best players in the league, a potential Hall of Famer. He's now there, and it's not like their team is bad. They've still got all-stars on their team around them.
Exactly.
And they're not getting beat. They are getting crushed.
My problem it's just, Kobe goes out, they play great for like that like little stretch, like that itty-bitty stretch. Everybody's like, oh yeah, the Lakers will be fine without Kobe, they're fine. No, they won't be. Do you see who's coaching them? No offense to Mike D'Antoni.
I like D'Antoni, but he wasn't ready.
He's not fit for that team. Like, you couldn't figure out how to play Powell and Dwight together until like the end of the season. You couldn't. Steve Nash. Then you implement Steve Nash in there. When Steve Blake was playing like with his hair on fire, he was playing great throughout that whole stretch that Steve Nash was gone. You put Steve Nash back in there, disrupt the chemistry that they had going on.
Oh, I hate when coaches do that.
I mean, I just don't think D'Antoni was up for the job. I really don't.
I don't think he was a good fit for the job.
Yeah, I don't think so. You have great talent, you need great coaches. And I think D'Antoni is a really good coach. I don't think he's a great coach.
Yeah,
I mean, at one time on this team, you have a healthy Steve Blake, a healthy Steve Nash, a healthy Metta World Peace, a healthy Dwight Howard, a healthy Paul Gasol, a healthy Kobe Bryant, and you're still doing average.
I was going to say, with those players, like,
you know, that's a...
You have so much potential there, and you couldn't...
Anyone else think Steve Nash is done?
Yeah.
He's just not...
Steve Nash is my boy.
I love Steve Nash. Don't get me wrong.
That's why I'm so mad he even left the Suns. But I think his time might be
He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have
his time. I mean, I don't know. Jason Kidd, for a while I thought he was done, and he did a little thing, you know, where he helped his team out. Same goes with not Derek Miller, the short guy that used to play for the Lakers.
Derek Fisher.
Derek Miller. He did the same thing. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't like the thing that Steve Nash has done, but
I hope not. It looks like it though.
I'd like to see him leave LA. I'd like to see him leave LA and play somewhere else and see him, do his thing, be somebody's assist master,
I mean, it doesn't really matter. At this point, they're going to be sitting at home, looking at each other.
Just let's not send Steve Nash to play soccer and get bit.
He can play for DC United.
Yeah,
Help them out.
he can do wonders for them.
Better job than they're doing right now.
I mean, I just think throughout the whole playoffs, though, with Kobe when he went down with his tweeting.
What did you guys think of the whole tweeting? Were you for or against that?
I was for it because I mean, he's that kind of guy like that gets them motivated, and he needed to be that even if they weren't there because I felt like they just kind of got a little lackadaisical a little bit. And him tweeting, I just think it kind of reminded them, I'm still here and I'm still watching y'all.
Yeah. I mean, Kobe, if it would have been somebody else, if you'd have even seen that from a LeBron who's there with Dwayne Wade, I'd have been like, whoa. But Kobe's the undisputed leader of that
That's
team.
his team.
And has been for over a decade now.
Right.
So I was like, he can do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
he probably has the official LA Lakers.
He can probably tweet from the Lakers account if he wanted to. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Okay, and now on to some more football. The New York Jets just announced today that they cut Tim Tebow. How are we feeling today, guys?
Oh, I honestly feel bad for Tim Tebow. I think
definitely.
he proved that he proved in Denver that he may not be the best quarterback, but he will work hard to get his team where they need to be, and he showed that by taking Denver to the playoffs, beating Pittsburgh in the first round. Maybe he didn't take them all the way to the Super Bowl, but I mean, I thought it was. I still think it's a mistake that Denver cut Tim Tebow.
I was just about to say that.
I don't think he should even be in this situation at all. But
you mean they should have kept him with Peyton Manning?
I want to hear the reasoning behind this.
I think he should have stayed in Denver. You look at Tim Tebow, what Tim Tebow had and what Peyton Manning has.
And what Tim Tebow needed. And
right, exactly. Yeah. Peyton has the mechanics down. Peyton Manning is not that athletic of a guy, but Peyton Manning has the intelligence. He has that quarterback IQ.
And what's the one thing that everyone complained about Tim Tebow is his throw.
Yeah.
Who knows better than Peyton Manning how to fix that?
I mean, you look at these greats and who they sat under. Tom Brady sat under Bledsoe. Steve Young sat under Montana. Hasselbeck sat under Favre. All these, heck, we saw Kyle Bowler do better after sitting under McNair
Look
for
at
a
Aaron
couple
Rodgers.
games. Aaron Rodgers sat under Favre.
Current day example.
That's how these quarterbacks become great. Obviously, you got some of them come out and who just do phenomenal on
And
their
Joe
own.
Flacco.
That's disputed. But, you see some of these quarterbacks come out and do well on their own. Tim Tebow led his team to the playoffs, led a poor team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And won a game in the playoffs.
Yes. Led a team that wasn't going to the playoffs.
And was leading your New England Patriots.
Yes.
In the playoffs, too, for like a little bit.
Yes, it was. And this was a great New England Patriots team, though. And so I agree. I think he proved himself. I think if he would have sat under Peyton, he'd have done better. But then you send him to New York, where Mark Sanchez has done nothing. And you don't give him
Except
enough
for
time.
fumble butts.
Right.
Butt fumbles is what I think.
And I mean, they didn't even give Tebow a chance. I think Rex Ryan needs to go. But.
I think if they have the same record as they did last season or worse, he's gone. I mean, you can't keep first off, they have no offense. Mark Sanchez has no one to throw to. Yeah. If you tell me Santonio Holmes, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
He's not that good.
He's all right.
I mean, he's all right.
He was all right before Mark Sanchez came.
But he wouldn't be a starting wide receiver on anyone else's team.
I think what you're going to see happen to Rex is just what you saw happen to Billick. They're going to say, you know what? Even if the team starts to turn around a little bit, if they don't make it to the playoffs, they're going to say you put too many eggs in Mark Sanchez's basket. He didn't turn out, and you stayed with him, and it's your time to go. And I just don't think Rex. I think when you see Rex come back, because I think he will come back to another team. I'm already firing him off. I think you're going to see him be a lot more quiet the next time, because I think that definitely worked against him.
Knows anything, then
it fueled other teams' fire. I'm a Patriots fan. I did not hate the Jets until Rex Ryan came in there.
Does anyone know what the Jets gave up to get Tebow? Was there anything?
It was like a 6th or a 7th round.
It was nothing. It was a great. It was a great deal. It was a great deal for whoever picks Tebow up, I think, because they're not picking up a lot of money. that Tebow was not getting paid $1 million a year with
Right.
Denver, which is another reason why I don't know why Denver gave him up.
Well, this shows how John Elway did not
saying-
want him there in the
I was
first
gonna say,
place.
I
mean,
think John Elway was just jealous. And
Yeah.
just was like, no, this guy's not going to steal my thunder as like
I agree.
that of John Elway.
I mean, John Elway, the team's president, came out and showed his disconfidence for his quarterback early in the season. He didn't want him to succeed in the first place.
But
I think it's a shame.
Where do you think Tim Tebow will go?
probably
Do you
in
think so?
Jacksonville. I mean,
I don't know, though. The Jacksonville stack, I think we didn't talk about this. I think Jacksonville came out strong in the draft. They put a lot of things around Blaine Gilbert. They put a lot of Gabbert.
I thought it was Gilbert too.
Yeah,
Gabbert.
Gabbert. They put
did.
they stuffed his
terrible.
offensive line a little
Yeah.
bit. They gave him some more weapons to throw to. Now we'll get to see how good of a quarterback he really is.
that's where Luke Joker went. BTW.
I was gonna say they
Second
got
pick in the draft.
someone good. I remember him saying, "I'm so happy to be in Jacksonville," and someone was like, "Do you know?"
And the Rams did the same.
Well, yeah, the Rams, I
Rams-
think, are the biggest winners. I mean,
Yeah.
to get Tavon Austin and then to get his teammate
Yeah.
Stedman Bailey, you're rolling.
Sam Bradford, I think, is going to come out and really, because he already looked good to me.
I was say I've always
He already
liked
looked good to
Sam
me, and now
Bradford.
that he's got some things around him, I think the Rams are playoff contenders this year.
Oh yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And now to our final question or debate topic. Jason Collins recently came out as gay. He plays for the Wizards. I
He's a
think.
free agent now.
Free agent.
Free
He used to
Last he played for the
Last
Wizards,
season he used to
yeah.
play for the Wizards.
Averaging 1.1 assists.
Which is probably around.
One rebound.
the-
Which is like half the team's points.
Yeah, that he's
right?
probably
1 point.
Probably the all-star
the
of the
team
team.
leader. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. What do we think?
Well, this makes him the first actively gay athlete in a major
In the
league
Big Four
sport.
sport. I mean, I think it's a big deal. He was Joe Kennedy, the congressman who was a part of the Kennedy family. He's one of their grandsons or whatever. He was his roommate, and so it's been big politically too.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea Clinton and Bill Clinton have already released statements praising him. Chelsea Clinton went to Stanford with him. I think it's huge because, like she said, he's the first active player on one of the major four sports to come out. So it's going to change the game. I think it'll be interesting to see if you see any
Yeah, it's
anti-gay
everyone
sentiment.
else that's the problem.
I
Yeah.
mean, there have been a couple of guys came out with tweets and they were like, I don't understand why he told people this. I mean, after a while, that stuff builds up inside you, and you
Yeah.
want to tell people that that's what you are.
Right, and you know in the locker room they're probably throwing things around like that's so gay, and he's ate it, So
Yeah.
now, I mean, I forget the guy who came out a couple years ago, but players started saying, "Oh, I can't believe it." I think the last time we saw something like this, especially with basketball, was when Magic came out that he had AIDS.
Oh yeah. That was
And Karl Malone, he let him have it. I'm not playing on the same court as him.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. I think that'll be interesting, and we'll be able to watch it if he gets picked up.
Yeah,
We'll
which
be able-
hopefully this doesn't affect him.
And I bet if anything, it'll help him
I was
get
gonna
picked
say,
up
all of
because
people
teams.
will want media attention.
Exactly.
Any press is good press, and
Right.
they'll want everyone to come see the gay basketball player, which is
Yeah.
terrible. That's what we.
You're right. Or teams will be able to say that they're open. They're more open, and
Yeah.
they will get praised for. I don't think it'll affect him getting picked up too much. I think he'll get picked up by some team that needs that 15th player, and it'll just be interesting when he's on the court to see if people react differently and stuff like
I'm
that.
more interested to see if there's a chain reaction, if more guys start
Yeah.
opening up.
Right.
Yeah.
In other sports.
Especially when
yeah.
there have been some really outspoken comments saying, I refuse to be in a locker
Yeah,
room with
like
you
that
guys. So
guy from the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big.
I just
and
wanted to punch
Yeah,
him.
he
not
was
even
so
just
ignorant.
basketball, it's all sports.
Right. Like you said, to see if this guy opens the door for it.
Right.
Then what'll happen now? That's how it always starts.
I think
hope
this
he
is a
does.
much bigger deal than the Brittany Griner
Yeah, I think so too.
situation
Oh,
last
it's
time.
For
Brittany
one,
Griner.
Brittany Griner's a female, and it's just
Yeah,
not looked
just
at the same
so
way,
different.
in our society.
I
but-
just hope that there's not some jerk that says something in the locker room that.
Well, I hope. I'm sure it'll happen, but I
Yeah.
hope the media goes after that jerk. I hope
Yeah, I
the
hope.
league goes after that jerk. So
David Stern, get on that.
yeah.
All right.
Something.
Right. No kidding.
Besides sit there.
Awful commissioner.
He
Yeah.
just sits there.
It's Stern.
But they've all been there for so long. Him and Seelig, just sit there and it seems like they
Selig's
know.
probably the worst.
Yeah.
He's got to be the worst.
Oh yeah, just go and use whatever you want. Tear down my league. Tear down America's pastime. I'm not gonna do anything. Nobody's gonna fire me.
Button.
I like Goodell. You can
Oh,
say what
Roger
you want.
Goodell.
Goodell drops the hammer and does
Right.
not care.
The
He's just
hammer's
like,
a little too big, but
I don't know. I like it.
let
You
people
know.
celebrate, you know? Let 'em have a good
Goodell's
time.
like, is that a Sharpie in your shoe? You're out of here.
Get outta
here. So I like it. Paul
all the fun
Tagliabue,
out.
I feel like, was just there. I don't.
he just sat there. He was just like,
Thick
do what you
glasses.
please.
Right. Like I have the best league. Go ahead.
Do what you want.
Yeah. So.
I am
And
the best.
And the NHL commissioner seems to like lockouts.
He loves them. Gary Bettman,
Yeah.
another lockout in like the next 4 years, guys. Get ready
Yeah.
for
There will
it.
be
I was
one.
gonna say,
There will
It's
be
about
one.
to happen.
No question.
Right. So.
They were trying to get rid. They were like, "Can we impeach a commissioner?" I never wanted to impeach. I was like, "Can you do that?"
Well, I think I think Congress will get involved next and start working because I mean they're involved with MLB and steroids, so jump in. As they're
Congress
not
got
doing
involved with the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Why
they
not
did.
this, you know?
Yeah, let's forget the
They make
economy
things
and
happen.
They make things
country
happen
can
in
win.
the
Yeah,
sport
because-
I was
world.
saying,
Yeah.
sporting world, they make things
Yeah,
happen. I don't
yeah.
know about our country.
Right.
Yeah,
so.
well,
Alright.
sporting's what's important.
Well, thank you everyone for watching SUTV Sports Night. Follow us on Twitter. What is it, SUTV1?
That's what it is.
I don't know.
Well, we have a sports night.
And there's a
too.
sports night.
Which it's a great question.
Or you can come work here.
If you
Call.
type, if
Or
you
you-
hit sports night in the little search thing, it'll come up
Or you could just come and watch
live.
part
live.
of the
I mean,
show.
it makes it even better
watch.
because you get to see all of our beautiful faces.
Then we
No
can actually have
Steelers
cameramen.
fans, though.
That was supposed to be between us. You know.
Okay. Have a good night, guys.